And we are officially live here in the team lobby for Influx versus Ready Aim Oops. Influx on blue, Ready Aim Oops on red. This is going to be the second casted game of the G3 inaugural Spring League. The first one being over on Good Guy Gaming 3, twitch.tv/Good Guy Gaming 3 in our Group A bracket.
And the game we're going to be watching is the second one off the main stage, if you will. And it will be between RAO, Ready Aim Oops, and Influx.
So these are two teams that actually didn't see each other during the promotional team, and I only got to see Influx play one game. I was watching against wow, bands coming out fast. We have Jinx and Vi band. Not sure if these are targeted. I don't know how much research these guys were able to do.
Yeah, once again, one of the new things about this league is that majority of these teams are actually fairly new. Either they have brand new players individually, or they have just complete new comps. So definitely going to be a lot of figuring each other out, feeling each other out in these opening rounds. So you see the Gragas and Udyr coming out for both of these bands with emphasis on anti jungle. Looks like it looks like Gragas has been very strong recently. Let's see if there's a Fizz band to Ziggs band. There we go. Ziggs would be the other one. Very strong mid laner with his AOE and ability to just hook you out of mid lane. What do you think they're looking to pick up from mid lane now that they bend out both Gragas and Ziggs?
For mid lane, I honestly have absolutely no idea, but I'm going to tell you, I think we're going to see a Shyvana or a Mundo picked up for top lane. I think that's what that Trundle band is pointed at.
Right.
And we do know that Starbucks likes to play those really tanky top laners.
Of course, yeah. His best is Renekton. He was famous around G3 for the crazy Renekton dives and plays. So, oh man, if we see a Teemo, we will make. Nope, just a troll pick, and we
The
have
Teemo Zillion
Syndra.
pick.
Syndra coming in for Antarctica.
So I'm wondering if that's actually a Kha'Zix mid or a Kha'Zix jungle, or if they're going to trade him to their top laner. I think we'd see things go poorly if they trade him to the top laner because once again, Starbucks really likes those tanky champions. The Tristana is an interesting pick. That's obviously geared more towards late game.
Yep.
Because her early game is solid and her late game is absolutely beyond good. But she's got a really hard mid game slump that I think Caitlyn will really be able to exploit.
Yeah, that's one of those things about Caitlyn. She's definitely a bully in lane. Just the range and the double shot on her passive. So we'll see how well Dignity's going to be able to go against Altus Gaming with that Caitlyn pick. So, and like you said, there's the Shyvana.
That's actually not who I expected it from, though. I was expecting it from Blue Team much earlier in the pick priority. And to see the Trundle banned out and the Shyvana not prioritized is very interesting to me.
Oh, and a Pantheon looks like it's going up against Shyvana. Then it would be once again, Kha'Zix and Shyvana can both go in the jungle. So obviously right now we have them, but they could definitely switch. But Starbucks not going to tanky per se, definitely a caster bursty top if he does stick with the Pantheon pick.
Well, and if he ends up against the Shyvana, I think we're going to see the same problem that Kha'Zix would see against a tanky opponent, in that he's not going to be able to blow him up. So not really sure how much work he's going to be able to get done up there. Pantheon doesn't really do a whole lot if he doesn't get to snowballing.
And that's got to be one of those unconventional supports there with the Morgana, right? Syndra will definitely be a difficult pick, just because her mid to late game utility probably drops off a bit further than Morgana's does. With her binding and with her ult, she still has some ability, whereas Syndra probably needs to have farm to be effective in the mid to late game. And we have on the other side we have Nidalee, monkey 10 points, picking up Nidalee, assuming obviously to go mid up against the Syndra or Shyvana once again. They can either go, but most likely Syndra. What do you think that gives outside of just a really strong poke and the mobility of Nidalee?
So, so looking at the games, looking at the team comps, they both feel a little scattered, in my opinion. The Kazakhs ganks obviously looking to get big and snowball early game, and kind of force an early late game situation, if that makes any sense, to where he's items ahead of Influx, but you don't really see Tristana or Shyvana doing a whole lot of work until the late game. And Kha'Zix as an assassin kind of starts to fall off towards there if Influx can build tanky enough to tolerate him.
Yeah, I'd be very curious just with that Morgana pick on the support, how well that's going to work out, just because you don't have the sustain at all for Dignity playing Tristana, and so if they don't get damage out there, or get a push, or get a solid gank from Kha'Zix, they're going to be put really behind if they get any early trades with the Caitlyn. Obviously, with Thresh, you're going to have the ever-present threat of getting hooked, getting pulled back in for some serious damage. So that's going to be walking that fine line, definitely, for that bottom lane.
Well, and I think the whole bot lane is going to come down to how well Worst Gamer can pull off his defensive maneuvers, be it getting a root on Caitlyn when she comes up to try and trade and harass Dignity, or getting a shield off before the hooks. And I think that's what we're going to want to see out of that is Worst Gamer's reactions enough to stop the pressure from Thresh Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely mop up those traps with her spell shield. Does the same thing that Sivir likes to do with using her spell shield to regen mana. So that'd definitely be a boon in their court. So we'll see. It might just make it easier so that Thresh can't get his full batch of CC off. He can run straight through his box, or cut half of it. Even if you do get pulled, you don't have that follow up kickback or get stuck in the box. So we'll definitely see. Hecarim is same thing as Kha'Zix. Likes to run in, likes to jump in with his speed buff and do a bunch of damage. Gets a lot of AOE. W, I'm pretty sure it is. No, it's his. Yeah. But yeah, and so we'll be seeing definitely an interesting build over on blue. I'd say that there is definitely a lot of jumping in potential and just going balls to the wall with Pantheon and Hecarim both flying in, doing a bunch of damage.
Now, I think what we're going to end up seeing is Influx looking really hard for a pick in pretty much all their situations. They're going to want to get a hook down onto any priority target. They don't really even care who it is. It honestly doesn't even have to be that big a priority target. And then they're just going to have Nidalee pounce onto it and the Pantheon stun follow up. And then once they're low enough, the guaranteed Pantheon critical, which is kind of a monstrous amount of damage if they can catch you.
Definitely.
We actually have a very similar situation coming out from Ready Aim Oops, where Morgana's going to hit a Dark Binding on, once again, pretty much any target, and Kha'Zix and Syndra are just going to look to make that person vanish from the map.
Right. And whenever you have Tristana, you get that mid to late game. I mean, she can push anywhere and push it in hard. With her explosive shot, just allows to push back any sort of. So I would say if we get into a siege, probably pretty even. You can get a lot of poke with Influx, but Red Aim Moops can definitely clear waves. a lot better. Just I think about every character has some kind of AOE, clear. So if it gets into an extended game, definitely look for ready aim oops to have the benefit.
All right, so here we are in the game. It's gonna get all the portraits arranged and set up.
Right. Get those OCD guys fixed up for us.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, and we have both teams coming out. What do you think is going? Which team you think is going to be aggressive? It looks like purple. Ready and Oops might be looking to invade through Blue's red side. And Blue obviously is right now is taking up Thresh. Had a little bit of a late start getting out of lane, but they're all moving into defensive positions at all of the jungle entrances into the jungle with Ready Aim Oops lining up around defensive around Blue, but also a little offensive, jumping over into the river on Blue side.
See some pings coming out from Ready Aim Oops, pinging near the red. I think they saw Nidalee cross over there. Either that or they're just deciding, you know what, maybe an invade isn't the best idea. We didn't get there soon enough. And they're just going to go ahead and set up for defensive position so the Kazakhs can start that blue.
Right. Yeah, they definitely look like they had a change of hearts. They were all down on Blue side to maybe get a pick if they were going full in, coming in from Influx. But right now, both teams are setting up with Nidalee and Syndra playing the dancing game. They both can see each other, or have seen each other. Nidalee's doing traps so that she can see anywhere she's looking to go, maybe get some extra cheap damage. And right now we got Red Aim Oops again in on the blue with Influx looking to get red for their Hecarim. There they go, and spine up, and they're all going to the lanes. Top lane going up there. We're going to see with the Doran Shield on Pantheon and the cloth armor on Shyvana. Pretty standard opening for the sustain. And then we have blue and red going down both teams. Hecarim moving towards the middle, picking up those wolves, looking to get 3, and we'll see if he makes a play over near Syndra.
Now, I'm thinking we're going to want to see Hecarim actually gank top. That's what the red start usually. They're going to want to try and keep that Shyvana down as low as they can, as late into the game as possible, before she becomes that intractable force that you just can't deal with.
Well, there we go. We have Hecarim going up towards blue. He'll be running out there trying to get that or move all the way up, and he will be in blue and picking that up. And down on bottom, looks like Tristana's taking some massive beating. It's the bully we knew that Caitlyn could be. Caitlyn and Thresh both full health. Mana's really pretty even, but just, man, that extra range is just punishing Tristana, and Worst Gamer not able to get, looks like, a binding to get them to do some combos off to get them to push back. Because right now we have them really almost push up to tower. Right now we look at the top lane, we have Hecarim coming in the back lane, getting Shyvana, down goes the Ignite, and it looks like there's not the first blood, and they come, and she might get her, no, the Ignite Viral Tick gets her down, and that is the first blood going down for Hecarim, with Pantheon getting the assist. Kha'Zix backs off, knows he can't do much about it. Down looking mid, they're both trading very well, but it looks like Snow's doing a little bit better job of avoiding those spears, so that with her, and right as I say that, takes one in the face. So they're about even down there, and we look down the bottom, they are evening out a little bit. Looks like they got some skills off on to Caitlyn to even it up with, they needed playing a little bit more passively, and there's that combo. Getting off on a Thresh, some damn serious damage onto him, with Hecarim and Kha'Zix, both other jungles, picking it up. We have Shyvana here. Now, they have their early kill that you said they were looking for. How does this change kind of the mindset for Shyvana, or at all?
I'm sorry, I completely missed that question. I was watching one of the trades down in bot lane. I think... looks like there's an engage going on in bot lane. Flash blown from Morgana. Really low on mana too, so this is kind of starting to swing towards Ready Aim or Influx's hands.
Yep, definitely. Looks like we have a invade coming in for Hecarim. He's going to be taking out the golems for Ready Aim Oops, and must have seen something because Kha'Zix had to go back, so he'll be right there. And looking to maybe coming back second another gank, but right now, Shyvana is still stuck on her tower, so he'll maybe come in the backside, maybe not. At least he's going to be seen by the ward on top lane, and won't be able to do much more than that. Shyvana can easily hug her tower and make sure that she doesn't take any unneeded damage.
Well,
so go ahead.
With that death, though, on Shyvana, we're seeing her fall behind in CS really, really fast. She's down 12 CS at this point, which isn't a huge number late game, but early game like this, that's a really big deal. When she went back, she brought back boots, which isn't really going to help her in the lane against Pantheon at all. He doesn't have any skill shots to dodge with them.
Right.
So that is an interesting pickup. It may have been all she was able to afford.
A gank coming in with Kha'Zix blowing the flash and from Thresh, and gets to both Caitlyn and Thresh down to low and mid, and Tristana is sticking around. I'm not quite sure if that's the best idea, but she's going to push it and probably go back. Yeah, she and Morgana probably going to go back after this one. They're both low, either in health or in mana. On top, we got to push down. Ignite going down on Pantheon. He's going to stick around, though. He's not afraid of the Shyvana, and she's going to run in with the burnout. Going to try to get him, but he is dancing a very close battle right now. And there she goes again with her twin bite, and is not able to dig off the kill. And Pantheon with that. And another. Oh, and the kill goes down. When Italy is able to get a kill. Maybe a little bit of a botched gank coming in for Kha'Zix, with Syndra going in maybe a little too early, but they were able to pick up the kill. So it goes at 1 for 1 in the middle lane. All right, and then bottom lane is both back, Tristana and Morgana sitting down there up against Caitlyn. Caitlyn looks like she's stuck around and was able to get some more farm. Puts her up, or actually gets her back to even, or close to even. She's still down 7. Very interesting seeing as she was doing so much damage, able to push Tristana all the way back. Dignity doing work, getting that CS back, even with the advantage that Caitlyn would seem to have in the early game.
Yeah, Dignity's actually doing a really good job keeping the pressure onto Caitlyn. I'm surprised that he's up in CS. That's
16 CS, man.
It's true, and
ridiculous.
It was actually, I believe it was Doublelift that said that Tristana should always come out down in CS in every lane that she comes out of. You expect Tristana to come out down 20 to 30 CS, and this is again because of that mid game slump, because of the fact that her her power is all located in levels 1 and 2. But it looks like we got a fight going on over by the dragon.
Right, and we have Nidalee getting down, but she gets the clutch pull from Thresh to get her out of there. They do Ignite, and it looks like they have the binding. But another one goes down, and they are able to pick up the kill on Hecarim with the binding and the combo sit down by Syndra after he got the blue, which now goes back to Kha'Zix.
Up top, we're seeing Starbucks putting a lot of pressure on this. Wow, and there's the dive, and
he does not care at all. He is just jumping in there. He's already got the Ruby Crystal, Longsword, and the boots, so he's definitely doing work. And that's talking about that early deficit that Shyvana was going up against. She only had the boots, and there was definitely a lot more ability have with Pantheon since he was able to take her out that quickly. And then she's going to have to teleport back just to get that CS lead back, and she's going to come in with her burnout, try to push him all the way back because she's got no mana to really fight back. Also looks like they're going to set up for Dragon right now. They both have the wards, but once, like you said, that clutch spell shield coming in from Morgana, and that's going back with her ult, and only got the stun off on Thresh. So Tristana will have to do some damage to push him back, but Hecarim's going to have to beat a hasty retreat. Right now, it also looks like Shyvana is going in on Pantheon, but he just does not care. He's sticking around still, because all she has really is the Ninja Tabi to really prevent the damage. She really can't do a lot by herself, nor does she have the health to go up against him. She's down 300 health right now.
Well, and one of the scariest things about a Shyvana trade is obviously that burnout does some great damage at low levels while she's staying near you. But if she gets her E on you, it shreds your armor, which in top lane is a huge deal. Pantheon's actually got a really good way to mitigate that, because even though his armor is shredded, he still blocks one of the auto attacks every time they go into trade with each other. So that's a pretty good solution to losing a percentage of your armor.
Right, definitely. You know, every 4 times he hits, and every time he lands that Aegis of Zonia, he's able to refresh that shield so that he does not take all that damage.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Apparently, it no longer reduces armor. It now just makes it so that she does on percent health on hit. So my mistake. That was old Shyvana.
Right. But current Shyvana is getting the golems to try to catch up against Pantheon. And it looks like Blue is going in for a dragon. They have 4-man down there. Right now they have some damage going on Caitlyn. And it looks like because they had the jungler down there, Kaza's was late to the party. They're not able to, looks like Blue is going in hard. They're not sure if they're going to have to come back in. They're still doing crazy damage on there. But we'll see if Nida's able to pick it up. And like we said, Pantheon, get him back in. Let's see what kind of help he's able to do. Oh man, he's picking that up. Murdered Kha'Zix with the ult. Caitlyn was able to get her down and then nearly picks up the kill on Tristana. Great kill, great dragon call, and then follow up. Since I knew that they had Pantheon coming in the back end of that fight with his ult. Now they're able to push really hard and get that mid tower. So even though Shyvana's able to push on top, because she's behind in farm, she really can't keep up, much less the 3-man pushing straight in with a wave into mid lane. Our first tower goes down for G3 Influx.
And that fight by Influx was actually really impressive. Tristana got a couple of resets on her rocket jump. Every time she gets a kill or assist, she gets to jump through. And I think she got 1 kill and 1 assist in that fight. Yeah, she did.
Right.
But she didn't use it to really reposition well for the fight. Instead, what we saw was she jumped onto Thresh at one point in the fight, trying to utilize that early game damage that Rocket Jump can provide, which may have ultimately not been the best choice because she does have a BF sword, so she could have had pretty good sustained damage throughout that fight anyways.
Right, and right now we have RAO pushing back into bottom lane, but it looks like somebody evening up. Kha'Zix moving through middle. From now on, Syndra's not going to have that tower to go back to, so it's going to be in her business to push up so that she can the farm and move further and further back. And hopefully, if she does push back, they can get off a gank on Italy. Right now, they're looking to get a gank off on Pantheon. Not sure if he knows. He definitely doesn't know having the ward coverage in there, so he's going to be either going in, full bore. They have a gank unless they get a nope. He is going down. Got him to burn the flash and
the ignite.
Shyvana.
Another fight.
Gank bot lane. Going to force the flash and the rocket jump coming out of Tristana. And they're all able to get away. Not quite for how long. We're not quite sure because here comes Syndra looking to do some major damage of her own. She injures. Oh man, he gets that ult onto Thresh, which is long. And then coming to the back end, Kha'Zix picks up Hecarim. Hecarim looks like he stayed a bit too long. But man, that massive damage coming in from the spear onto Syndra forces her to move away, pick up that blue for herself. Italy's going to be sticking around, and Pantheon's going back on top to match up with Shyvana.
So one of the things we're seeing here is Tristana is coming out of the lane CS ahead, which is again unexpected and probably somewhat
a mechanic issue.
Somewhat bad portent for Influx. But what we are seeing right now is Caitlyn is actually still up on gold just slightly due to not having died and due to being part of more of the team's kills.
Right. Obviously the team plays, as long as you're involved with the kills, you're coming out on the better end of that. And so we have Hecarim picking up the red for Influx as well as Elemental picking up the red for RAO. And the teams are looking to reset back. Nidalee pushing up her lane. Now she can go roam once again because of her passive, because she's running around. She's able to move much more quickly and then get down the bottom lane really before RAO's gonna be ready. Throwing those spears in there, trying to get to chunks of damage so that they can do great getting in there. And they goes down bottom lane a lot quicker and forces to get that. And there comes Kylix on the back end. Not only he does, but that damage coming in from the Caitlyn and the Nidalee combined is able to pick up a triple kill for the Caitlyn. That is the damage. You can see if they stay around long enough for Sumida to get it back. But it looks like Caitlyn and Thresh are going to be pushing themselves out. Really interesting, you know, as every champion is coming in. It was like, you know, they were coming in almost on a rotation, bursting down and moving through there, and it ended up turning out in Influx's favor.
Now, well, Syndra just walked right past a pink ward. That was an interesting choice. Okay. While placing a regular ward on top of it.
Right.
So that's a decision that got made. So we're seeing about a 2.5K gold lead for Influx here. It's coming up 45 seconds on the next dragon, and both teams are just coming up. So we have to assume they have it timed. They're going to be wanting to fight around that dragon. Although Syndra creeping up top, or not Syndra, Shyvana indicates they may not.
Oh man, that is going to be some massive damage coming in. They did not see that coming. They did not have a ward. And it looks like they'll be pushing in, maybe trying to get that tower before they set up for Dragon. Right now it looks like RAO have the advantage because a bunch of blue pit players are going all the way up there trying to get that tower. Looks like they may be giving up the Dragon maybe just to get that tower. But RAO not making a move for that, trying to get a tower themselves to even out that trade.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And there goes down the third tower for RAO, and they're going to keep pushing. They say, you know, if you're not going to stop us, we're going to keep pushing, even though it opens up that dragon, because they have 4 of the 5 members. Thresh by himself holding Syndra off tower, and right now it looks like purple team is making a ping to try and make it play, because that is 4 towers to 1 right now. That Influx is able to get off on RAO.
4 towers to 1, and it is going to end up being 1 dragon to 1 as soon as this is done. But Ready Aim Oops does not have their jungler down. Looks like Pantheon's going to man drop onto him.
Pantheon, and he picks it up with that Q. And fortunately, they might lose 2 because of it. Yeah, Tristana jumping in. Nidalee, you do not want to be there. It is a dangerous place. But, you know, when you got spears like that, it does not really matter. Syndra says, no, thank you, please. I don't really feel like going up against another spear like that because that's going to hurt. But they do lose the dragon, and Pantheon and Thresh lose their lives. So maybe not quite an even trade. Dragon's maybe a little more valuable, but definitely with ending the lives of both of them, and maybe get some farm for their other members while they're down at the moment. Maybe get some pressure elsewhere.
So we're starting to see our first sets of major items coming out. We're seeing a Thornmail immediately picked up by Shyvana. Very scared of that Pantheon damage in the lane, but unfortunately she's not laning against him anymore.
Right.
Will still help against the fact that Caitlyn and Hecarim are both also very heavily physical damage oriented.
Right. And you gotta think that's gotta want to be one of their strategies for them that much physical damage, because oh my gosh, the Nidalee spears. Get her a blue, and she is nasty with those things. They're going to come out. They're going to be doing all kinds of damage, especially when she's got so many points. She's already got it maxed out. She's going to be throwing them in, doing all kinds of damage. It's going to be a testament to the control of RAO to see if they can hopefully mitigate some of this damage that Nidalee's putting down. Right now, they're going to be sieging, or Influx is sieging up middle tower. Once again, we talked about how RAO, all of the members, have it does not matter when there are that many spears from Italy. She only has to hit 1 or 2, and there goes another one off of Tristana. Tristana has only been hit by 2 abilities that entire fight. She's already down below 8%, and 1 Q Pantheon. There's gonna be a big battle in the middle. All the AoE's are looking for. Looks like she's gonna be taking them out. Oh, and then a catch on Caitlyn, but they're not focusing her. And then there they go, forcing out the flash. And Thresh is getting the kill on on Kha'Zix, but they're still following up, and there goes the Ignite on Caitlyn, and she is going to be taken out by Shyvana. A 4-for-1 going out for RAO.
And that
Great
whole
game
fight
by them.
started with Hecarim being caught woefully out of position. He was incredibly far up with none of his team even remotely near him, and they just turned on him and blew him up. He tried really hard to get some CC out to counter it, but the Morgana shield was just too strong without having any magic damage to burn it out. It gives a lot of time for CC immunity.
Oh man, there goes Pantheon. They thought they'd be able to back out, but Pantheon's coming with a vengeance. He is not going to let them push in his tower. Right now, he has got the Black Cleaver, and then he's going straight health. One of those things that obviously every top laner needs to do is be tanky, jump in there, be able to do damage, and stick around for a little bit to get maybe a reset on his cycle of abilities. So right now, they're also going to be still setting up in middle. Tristana went to go down and push back bottom lane, but I thought she was going to go back down and look at there's a ping going off on top lane. There's a large minion wave going up there, and it looks like that Pantheon's going to go up to take it. He's already up 26 on the Shyvana, only looking to push it out more. But right now, you still see the Caitlyn is down 25 to the Tristana, which is not something you're going to be with any ADC, especially against Tristana, who just gets stronger. But obviously, it doesn't seem to matter that much when you have your Nidalee hitting spears like that, forcing Syndra again to go back.
Well, and as much as she's down CS, we're still seeing Caitlyn up by about 350 gold. And we're starting to see a little bit of a build path divergence. Both AD carries went for the Bloodthirster first. And we're seeing full stacks on both of those. But Caitlyn going for the Phantom Dancer, whereas Tristana's going for an Avarice Blade that I can only assume is going to be turned into a static shift.
Right.
So Caitlyn's going to be a little bit stronger in team fights, whereas Tristana's going to be a little bit better at clearing and pushing waves, which is something we already talked about she excels at as is.
Definitely. I mean, they're going to be able to, if any siege comes out, it is going to be definitely on the side of RAO advantage. Unfortunately, because the way the fights have already been going, or the way the game's already been going, because they're pushed in so far, they do not be able to put that advantage into an offensive advantage, but more of a defensive advantage. That they're able to keep them off their towers, not let them get free damage. And really the only thing that she's really afraid of is whether or not they can dodge those Nidalee spears, because they are coming out in full force. Man, already pushing Morgana back. And she just Nidalee's just sitting in that pocket near Wolves. Even though they have a ward down there to see her, they're just too much to keep track of at the time, and they can't, have one guy get caught by the Thresh with everyone else, getting speared by Nidalee. So it's definitely a cat and mouse game right now with everybody else going in mid. Kha'Zix going to be trying to get around jump in on one of the pushier carries, but here they go. They're forcing some damage on Pantheon. He has all the health. There's not a lot of resistances, and there they go. All right, getting down another huge engage. And Syndra is, because of all the AoE, they took out the Ziggs, they took out the Gragas, and the one left was Syndra. She's able to do just as much, AoE right now with the kind of engages that they are getting. Shyvana not really caring, apparently, about all that spears coming from Nidalee, because they're pushing right down central. All five of them lined up, going up against just Russian Nidalee.
Well, one of the things I've been seeing, and what I expected out of Ready Aim Oops' team comp, was a targeted delete comp, where they were going to land a Dark Binding and then just kill someone. I've seen Syndra kind of jump in the gun. I've seen people... Oh, here's another fight.
And that's a catch, but it doesn't matter, because apparently Nidalee doesn't care, and just deletes Kha'Zix. Pantheon doing what Pantheon does, coming straight in, and then Shyvana having to burn out to get all the way out of there with Influx in hot pursuit. We'll see how much they're able to get off on them, but they're just looking to catch up Dragon, which has already been cleared, and they will look to re-push back into mid lane after getting that catch on Kha'Zix and Morgana.
And Tristana just did that Dragon by herself, and what we've got now is we've actually got a 1.7k gold lead for Ready Aim Oops, which they were just not too long ago behind by about 2.5. So you're seeing
Right.
about a 3.5K gold swing here. Pushing on to mid tower really, really hard.
To get that lane off, to get that lane done, with the ability of whenever Pantheon's tanking, to tank those tower shots after he Zonya's to a minion, which I'm pretty sure they allowed in the last patch. Yeah, he can Zonya to a minion and get that reset to allow him to tank it that much longer because he's blocking all those tower shots. So looks like they have 3 champs, which is kind of an interesting play to do, having 3 champs go bottom when Baron is a very real threat right now. I guess they figure they haven't warded with the pink, so if RAO goes to do Baron, they definitely could, because there are still 3 champions regardless of whether they see it or not. They're going to be able to go down there and take it out, and right now you have 2 members of RAO going to defend that this bottom push by Influx.
And Tristana's just split pushing and free farming up in the top lane. That's going to make her a very, very real threat if something's not done about that.
Oh, that is a massive. Unfortunately, she did not stay around long enough to get her proc, because she had all three members of Influx down there caught in her ult, and they were gonna go down if nothing was done. Thankfully, Pantheon was able to burst her down, and then Influx takes the tower. I'm not quite sure if they oh my gosh, man mode Pantheon coming in with the flash, and oh man. Well, maybe a miscommunication there. If they'd known perhaps that Keelan had her ult up, they probably wouldn't have had Pantheon stay around there to get killed by Syndra. Regardless, they got the kill, and they're going to be pushing again 3v1 on Shyvana with Morgana coming in to lay down her Painted Earth that's not Tormented Soil, sorry, to clear off that minion wave. With Tristana right now, she's up 58 on the Caitlyn. Going to be doing work when they get to team fights. A big discrepancy right there.
Yeah, and we're seeing the gold even back up after that last team fight, and Tristana was actually able to take a turret by herself in the top lane while all of this was going on, and Influx was only able to get 1 turret in response. They got some pretty good damage on their inner turret though.
Right, and once again, we have all the teams sitting up from middle and moving towards the Baron side. This is the same thing. If they, once they see a member of Influx go down, we'll see if they are able to go over and get that Baron pressure up there. Right now, they're clearing out for Influx, and Influx, because they know that, they think that it might be a possibility that they're going to jump in and do that Baron. So they all go up there to either push them back or reset their wards up there, so they have that coverage, know what RAO is going to be trying to do. After that, they all go push mid, do what they've always been doing, get a push straight down central to try to get that tower, that damage in on the middle tower, while Shyvana pushes out mid, or pushes out bottom rather. Oh man, there goes half of Cinder's health. All from and there goes half of Tristana's health. I'm gonna tell you, these spears are changing the game, and they are definitely making it hard for that engage comp. There's definitely a big difference engaging in on someone, getting that pick when half your or at least 40% of your teammates are all losing half their health, while the entire team on Influx are all healthy. And with that, with all those members being forced back off RAO, it looks like there's going to be a Baron attempt in for Influx. They have a bunch of damage going in. Everybody but Nidalee, it looks like, are doing it. Nidalee is not really the best person to go up against it. She does a great job, though, of making RAO push back, not let them engage on it. But there is some serious damage going in from Tristana. She hit.
Now, it looks like Influx may have decided to peel off that, which may have been a mistake. It does leave Maple Leaf at very low health. They're going to go ahead and pop the Aegis there.
And it looks like Blue Team did a great job of sticking in and picking up that Baron, but a bunch of damage going to Tristana dealing out, but depends on what is able to be done by Syndra. Syndra can pull out all these skill shots to be able to take him out. And Caitlyn, unfortunately, there's only one left. Let's see if she's able to pick up this kill. And there goes the ace with a quadra kill going on Caitlyn. Farm? What farm? I farm champions is what Caitlyn's saying. She doesn't care how many minion kills Tristana has. She's doing work once you get to the team fights.
Well, and that team fight started out with Tristana and Kha'Zix both jumping in, which that's almost a Zuna-type move that you would see with Tristana just going in on the front line like that. And it's kind of interesting to wonder how that fight might have been different if Tristana stayed around the side and let her tanks actually do their job for her.
I mean, it goes to that same thing that we saw in one of the first team fights, that Tristana, that she's got a great late game and she does a great amount of damage. She already has got a item lead on, even though it might be slight at this point, on the Caitlyn. Well, it looks like it's about even with the home guard boots and maybe one Dorn's blade in for the Tristana. So they're even in at least in items, but it looked like Caitlyn almost got jumped in on there, but she was able to get out with her Piltover Peacemaker, and now Influx is going down to picking up that dragon, which they do very, very easily. No challenge from RAO. But it goes back again to that positioning. Regardless of the range, regardless of the type of ADC, positioning is everything.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of wards on the red side, as I say, as a few of them fall down, because we still have 5 warding trinkets on the side of RAO, so they're not doing any vision deny, whereas Influx now has 3 sweeper trinkets to try and deny that vision out.
Right. Definitely one of those things that is a consideration as you move towards the mid to late game is how many wards are you buying, how many wards are you placing down with your trinkets. So we have, at the moment, we have Starbucks going in on bottom, pushing out with Pantheon, and while we have pretty much all 4 out of the 5 members of Influx pushing out on bottom, with the only Hecarim pushing out on top to get that farm back. Right now they're going to be supporting down middle, grouping up probably, at least Pantheon's moving out because he's got 2 members of RAO coming after him.
Well, and even with Pantheon pushing bottom, he does have his ultimate up. It is a quasi-global ultimate, so he can turn a 4v5 into a 5v5 in quite a hurry. Or, if 2 people respond to him, he can turn a 4v3 into a 5v3 in incredible hurry. And it's just going to be really hard for Ready Aim Oops to respond to that, even with Shyvana's absolutely massive map traversal speed due to burnout.
Definitely. And right now, it's going to be the same thing that we've had almost half this game right now. Is going to be a siege coming in by Influx with the Nidalee Spears and with the Caitlyn range and the Caitlyn Qs. There's going to be a bunch of damage coming in. We're going to see how well Arias can weather the storm, and unfortunately, taking Nidalee Spears to the face is not it. It's one of the more difficult parts of the game is going up against a fed Nidalee who's got the elixir of the blue elixir coming out. She definitely puts down some pain, and kind of engaging. Looks like Arias is going all the way in, and then there's a bunch of skill shots going on Hector, and he's trying to do his best to push back the back lane, but Syndra is pushing all the way through that, doing all kinds of work, getting that help from Kha'Zix, and they're splitting off. Pantheon just running for his life. He might be getting cheeky and running on top trying to get that tower. But there goes a kill on a massive spear coming in from Nidalee. She is just doing work.
And we're seeing Pantheon, who actually made it out of that fight, responding to the 4 originally people chasing Nidalee by going up and taking top tower at 300 or at 600 health is all he has left, and it looks like he's going to get it without contest. That was a crucial misstep by Red Team to chase the Nidalee like that. So during that team fight, we saw both of the tanks, Hecarim and Shyvana, just both go absolutely all in towards the enemy AD carry. And it looks like Tristana was able to come out of that alive, so that's really impressive. Just not enough damage from Hecarim, or he just wasn't able to stay alive long enough to run that interference, which may have been due to the fact that he did get caught by that Dark Binding earlier in the fight.
I mean, just perfectly played by Nidalee. Once that fight breaks down, it's one of the things you get out of Nidalee is once it breaks down and everybody starts chasing her, she can play that game of just kiting all the way back. And when you're kiting with an ability that is going to have as much damage as she is with 487 AP, it makes it really hard to keep up that chase. And unfortunately, yeah, they did not keep tabs up. Either they didn't have wards coverage, which it doesn't look like they really had it up there to cover the Pantheon, and just didn't react soon enough. The Nidalee once again did a great job of keeping that pressure on, keeping the damage on the chasing members of RAO as they, with a minute left to go till Baron, they have both teams setting up to go, maybe trying to get a catch off on one of the members of either team so they can give them an advantage once it comes down to that fight.
Well, and what we're seeing now is we're finally seeing our first red trinket coming out from Ready Aim Oops. Finally trying to deny some of that vision to Influx that just absolutely crippled them and allowed Influx to pretty much run the game how they've wanted to. Influx is going to push really hard into this inhibitor turret and try and make a play for it.
And oh man, they got maybe a little too cheeky because there's a 3-man ult going in for Morgana. She's again going to Papa Zanyan, and there goes a double kill for Shyvana. And I tell you, there's too much engagement perhaps going in, or too much focusing on the. Oh my gosh, that Nidalee, she is doing work. Oh, I thought she was gonna get Syndra, and Oh my God!
These radio targeted spears are pretty great. Wow, the play coming out from Thresh, trying to knock or successfully knocking back Kha'Zix.
Got all the resets and then just murdered 2 people. Once again, you can definitely tell that both teams are getting hyped for this one. Perhaps some decisions being made more with their hearts, maybe than their brains pushing in. With that, but definitely some heart-stopping plays coming in for both teams. Tristana doing work while the Italy is just putting everybody to sleep with their spears. Oh my gosh! And looks like we have 3-man Baron going in. I guess they're figuring that Tristana with their 227, 8 kills, 13 assists, and with all that kill. But Pantheon says,
"Here comes Pantheon."
Might be a little too late, especially because the room is up there, and I'm not quite sure that was the best call. Jumping there, already going to lose his life, and they lost Baron anyways, and now it's going to be 5v4 for a good, almost minute, 50 seconds more for Pantheon. So it's going to be a tough storm to weather for Influx. Let's see if they can pull it out.
Well, this is interesting because we've seen all game Influx sieging against Ready Aim Oops, and we've seen how well Ready Aim Oops' comp can deal with that, despite the fact that Nidalee Spear is still absolutely hurt. We might actually finally get to see Ready Aim Oops sieging Influx, and we'll have to see how the Nidalee Spears and the heal allowed them to hold a sustained siege on the defensive side, which isn't something we've really been able to see yet.
Well, it seemed like that one team fight where they caught him trying to break out and destroy that naked inhibitor without any ward coverage, without knowing where they were going to engage from, plus the Baron kill, plus the Pantheon pick, has really swung at least the gold lead into RAO's favor. Now, once again, they still have a map control issue because they have that naked inhibitor, because they have 2 more towers lost. But you've got to feel good, because the team fights have gone your way. Because if you keep winning team fights, eventually there's not going to be enough team to kill it unless they somehow pull up a magical Pantheon, dropping in the backside to, backdoor them. Which, with the reaction times that you can get from Shyvana with her burnout, hopefully would not be an issue, especially with 2 champs that can jump to cut them off. But we have both teams now engaging in middle. Purple team still has Baron buff, so they'll have the advantage if any fights go down.
Well, you're talking about the gold lead finally swinging back over towards Ready Aim Oops, and part of that was the dragon as well. It was there, but just not really noticeable. But we're still only looking at about a 2.5k gold lead, and at 39 minutes, that's not really a big deal. 20 minutes ago, it was huge, but now you're looking at that's a less than 10%. That's actually a less than 5% difference in the gold on the teams, and it's all going to be about where that gold is stacked up. And Tristana is actually the one that has it all. Everyone else is almost dead even.
All right, so this game pretty much comes about one champion for RAO, right? They have to get in on him, and thankfully he's got a GA, so it's going to be a lot tougher. But it looks like it would be a interesting ult choice. I just want to get that auto damage in from Caitlyn. We're going to see how much damage. The longer a team fight goes, you got to feel good about Influx. RAO is all about the burst. Take them out with that first engage, and that Italy Spear are going to put some serious hurt in. And the longer a team fight goes, you gotta feel better about Influx. Then the more, it's not about whether she can hit all the spears. It's about whether she can hit just enough to make that fight get turned in their favor. So there goes. Oh, it almost hit another one. But at this point, you have a little bit more MR for Kha'Zix to go prevent a lot of that damage. It's those squishy champions. You got Morgana with a little bit over 100, but really it's the Syndra and the Tristana that if they're under 100. MR that can be really taken out. Right now you have Morgana, low health, maybe shouldn't be the one to first engage, maybe just pull off a binding or something. Because if she gets hit by, even a 60 to 70% range spear, she's going to be taken out. Right now it looks like to be pushing them back. All of RAOs are going to be returning to buy, maybe change up the way which side's going to be pressuring, because right now they had a huge wave pushing in on top lane that Kha'Zix had to go and clear out.
So not a whole lot of action going on right now. The Baron buff is, I believe, off. Yes, it is. So we've got a couple more minutes before that Baron's up. Didn't actually catch the time it went. And I think the next real big fight we're going to see is when Baron comes back up. I expect to see Pantheon trying to push this bot lane back out and see if he can get any pressure onto that bot lane tower and inhibitor. But maybe they're going to prove me wrong. Got a big wave coming in here in mid lane.
Yep, and with members of them following it up, Kha'Zix going to be pushing back on top. Probably not the wisest to engage, but all they're going to be doing is clearing both the red timer and maybe clearing wards, sitting there looking for a pick. The Tristana really does do the most damage, and with especially that Sag Shiv, whenever they get grouped up, she's been doing a ton of damage with that red buff, along with all of her items right now. So Kha'Zix's still on top. They may not like to engage, but Influx says, yeah, we're all 5 here. We'll definitely engage, and we'll see if they can get eyes on. They'll have a ward for Kha'Zix, but they may not have it all the way. Hecarim's definitely going to see it, and they all knew he was up there coming back. And there goes the engage, coming in with, and there goes the kill. Tristana getting out Caitlyn, which is huge in that fight. She's going to be going off on Starbucks and pushing him out. Not quite going to get him, and they're going to look to get some disengage. It was about even with Morgana barely getting out of there. Here comes the chase. Once again, Nidalee makes her way out, does some damage. We'll see if she can push them out the rest of the way.
And Caitlyn was just absolutely deleted in that fight, and honestly, I want to say it's a matter of her being out of position, but her team lines changed so quickly when Hecarim ulted over that wall towards the Kha'Zix when his team had no way to follow up and get to him. That may have been a mistake.
And of course there's a spear. Oh, and resets the GA. That might be huge in this next team fight. If they're able to get a pick. They get a pick off on Tristana, sacrificing herself for the Tristana. I'm not sure if Tristana knows that. Oh my god. They have a spear. Oh my god. Crit. Either they get the crit or they get the kill. And Pantheon has to go back and maybe get a kill off and resets the Kha'Zix resets the GA on Kha'Zix well. And they really picks the kill on Syndra. There goes the kill on Kha'Zix. Really interesting fight there. The Pantheon jumping in, and Tristana not quite. I guess she did. Yeah, she did get the kill off on the Thresh, or the Hecarim. Wasn't quite sure who it was. But the Pantheon jumping in and pushing Tristana all the way off was really what allowed them to focus on the other champions, specifically Syndra, who was the one jumping in, doing a bunch of damage, and really turned that fight around for G3 Influx. Now they're going to try to go into that top lane to take out that inhibitor that's still been there almost this entire team fight.
And Tristana's choosing to take blue as 3 people are moving into this inhibitor. I think she just thought she wouldn't be able to do anything about that if she didn't get back, if she wouldn't get back in time. It's an interesting choice for Tristana to take blue.
Yeah, definitely not.
Especially when she knew there were 3 people top.
Right.
It should not have been a priority objective.
Right. Well, thought it might have been that she could have pushed him back, but if she gets picked or she gets killed in any way, she really is the damage. So she definitely has to be careful with how much she's willing to risk, even though it is for a important objective like an inhibitor. Right now we have both the Baron and the Dragon. It looks like Influx is going to be trying to push down as fast as they can, and they're definitely doing work. They did out before Arion could get there, and destroyed by the Tristana, and the Hecarim getting left out by himself. While Nidalee with that clutch spear, I swear she is turning this game around single-handedly, and almost got another spear, which has been disgustingly filthy on that Tristana. But really, that is just some amazing work done by the Nidalee. At this point, she's 13, 5, and 13, has the most kills individually on either team, and is doing work for her teammates at this point. But yeah, like you said, really a non-factor. But Pantheon, at this point, he got a double kill. They must have been taking aggro or something, because he was able to destroy both of them. Of course, he's got a bunch of damage himself. He's got Mallet, Cleaver, and Maw, which gives him a hefty 350 attack damage. So even though they're pushing and they're able to get Dragon on bottom, that Baron with a combination of the 3 kills picked up by Influx is going to allow them to push all the way in to the middle tower, or middle inhibitor tower.
And they're just going to tank it with a combination of the shield from Thresh's Lantern and the fact that Pantheon, after every 4 attacks, gets a free auto attack block.
Right.
Which is a pretty strong deal when you're trying to siege a tower.
Yep, and there's not a lot to do right there because they had problems of their own on top lane. With the top inhibitor going down, then Tristana not reacting maybe appropriately to that push on top. They had to react to the minions pushing in. They'd already lost a Nexus tower, and they had to go push out the upgraded minions. Because they were going to lose their Nexus if they didn't, and allow them to get a free inhibitor in mid.
Now we're seeing something actually really interesting here. We're actually seeing G3 Influx, who is behind in gold, with a greater map control and map presence than Ready Aim Oops. Ready Aim Oops is down 9 towers to Influx only being down 5. Influx still having all of their base towers left, and Ready Aim Oops only has their top inhibitor tower, bottom inhibitor tower, and their bottom Nexus tower. 2 waves of super minions pushing in this game when they had no control objectives.
Right. I mean, it is going to be real tough for them to make reaction plays because they just don't have the wards. They can't get out to ward. They stay in their base. It's going to take a few picks, definitely, on some high priority champions. If they could just kill the Nidalee, you would think that would turn this around. But she is so far back in that team line. They have to churn through so much health and so much tank through the Pantheon and through the Hecarim and through the Thresh to get all the way back to Nidalee.
Well, and the other thing we're seeing now is Tristana's actually sold the GA now that the cooldown for it is currently down, and she's actually going to do more damage in this team fight than she has in the previous team fights. She's been picking up a 4th damage, 5th damage.
Right. Goes in the flash and the Zhonya's, but it does not matter because Hecarim gets a massive jump in on Syndra and takes her out, and then he goes in and just keeps going, takes out the Tristana because they're not quite doing quite enough damage. It's like 250 armor on Hecarim. He just went in man mode, took out Syndra and Tristana, and they got a double kill for Nidalee, doing work like she's doing.
And what happened that fight is Caitlyn was able to DPS unmolested because Shyvana, Tristana, and Syndra all turned to try and deal with the Pantheon that was in the back line.
Oh yeah.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Well, it looks like that team fight was what ended it, and they're going to end Tequila Nexus to get game 1 of this G3 Spring League game. Go into G3